Chapter 302. It's my fault for being thoughtless and making things difficult for you. Yi Chuliang bowed to Su Yiyan with a guilty look on his face. Su Yiyan felt a little upset seeing him like this. The person in front of her was truly selfless and loved Chinese medicine. He loved everything related to it. Human eyes could not lie. She could feel his sincerity. He had never thought of keeping these things in his hands to amass wealth. But asking her to teach others, Su Yiyan took a deep breath and tried to ask the system. System, can I teach what I've learned in the system to others? The system was silent for a few seconds before responding. Yes. There won't be any bad consequences, right? No. There won't be any problems when the host taught the method of medicinal cuisine to her subordinates, right? That's not the same. The effects of medicinal cuisine are relatively weak. Moreover, the medicinal cuisine in the restaurant can only be made with my permission, so it's still within my control. He's asking me to teach those I don't know. What if she really taught some people, but those people's abilities were not good enough, but they went to treat others for the sake of their unconventional vanity? Would it be her fault if something went wrong? The system was silent for a few seconds before speaking again. The host's concerns are reasonable. However, there was a saying in ancient Earth. The master can show you the way, but the cultivation depends on the person. Some people can do the same thing well, while others can't. This is very normal. Those who can do it well will continue to persevere, while those who can't will be eliminated. The system was different from humans. It had a powerful database, so its words were naturally more rational. However, host, are you sure you want to do this? What? If you teach these things, the host's abilities will be replicated. Perhaps it won't be that special to the world anymore. At that time, it might be more difficult to steal the halo of the female lead. Host, don't you want to change the fate of yourself and your family? Su Yiyan's heart trembled. She couldn't help but struggle. After Yi Chuliang apologized, he didn't want to disturb her any longer. He left with his 2 students. However, 1 second before he walked out of the room, Su Yiyan called out, Professor Yi, I need to think about it. Yi Chuliang stopped in his tracks and turned to look at her in surprise. Su Yiyan avoided his eyes, not allowing him to affect her too much. I need some time to think. The fact that Su Yiyan did not reject him directly meant that he was still struggling in his heart. He was not completely indifferent to his proposal. A glimmer of hope appeared in Yi Chuliang's eyes again. His eyes reddened as he said, all right. Take your time to think about it. There's no rush. No matter what decision you make, you don't have to worry. It was easy to refuse a purposeful plea, but a humble plea could always soften one's heart. After Yi Chuliang and the others left, Su Yiyan heaved a huge sigh of relief. However, she saw her brother and uncle looking at her with complicated expressions. What's wrong? Is there something on my face? Cheng Juanhao's face was unprecedentedly serious. Yin, how do you know all these things? Clearly, I've never heard you mention them before. Su Yuxuan echoed. That's right. We've lived together for over 20 years. As your older brother, I actually didn't know that you knew all these strange things. The medicinal cuisine from before was one thing, but now, Su Yuxuan never realized that the little sister he had doted on since childhood was so unfamiliar. Chapter 303. It wasn't that Su Yiyan hadn't imagined such a scenario before, but when it really happened, there was an indescribable complexity in her heart. After a moment of silence, she said in a hoarse voice, I detected that the host has the intention to expose the system. Warning, warning, warning. The words that were about to come out of Su Yiyan's mouth were forcefully stopped by a bunch of big red and bold exclamation marks. What? I'm saying that the reason why I know and understand these things is because of Grandpa. Grandpa? Su Yuxuan turned to look at Cheng Juanhao, and they both saw the unexpected surprise in each other's eyes. You're saying that Grandpa taught you all these things? To be precise, it's the information that Grandpa gave me. Cheng Juanhao still didn't believe it. Why haven't I heard Dad mention this before? Su Yiyan's eyes were slightly red, and she tried her best not to let the two of them see her nervousness and guilt. This is a secret between Grandpa and me. A secret. Cheng Juanhao felt more and more ridiculous. Then why are you talking about it now? Moreover, Dad was clearly very surprised when he saw you cook those dishes before. Most importantly, if his father already knew about these things, then why didn't he say a word for so many years when he could have helped them? Why did he just watch them do all kinds of things for their child? Su Yiyan knew what Cheng Juanhao wanted to say, so she hurriedly explained. I got the medicinal cuisine recipe from an old friend of Grandpa's who passed away 2 years ago. Although Grandpa knew about it, he didn't know what was written in it. An old friend who passed away? Cheng Juanhao's mind was a little confused. Did his father have an old friend who passed away 2 years ago? Yes, it's an old friend who lives in a more remote area. You can go back and ask Grandpa. Cheng Juanhao was originally skeptical of Su Yiyan's words, but after seeing how certain she was, he was a little shaken. Really? Of course it's true. Why would I lie to you? After the first lie came out, the rest followed suit. As for why I'm willing to tell you now, it's because you asked, and I don't want to lie to you. Moreover, since I've already decided to take these things out, rather than letting your imaginations run wild, I might as well tell you the truth. Su Yiyan looked at Cheng Juanhao apologetically as she said, Uncle, I didn't mean to be indifferent to your anxiousness. It's just that my treatment method is too unique. I haven't tried it in the beginning, and I'm afraid that I'll cause problems. Also, before this, I wasn't sure if I could really help you. I was worried that if I gave you hope, you wouldn't be able to get pregnant. Cheng Juanhao's face finally looked better. He also realized that he had pushed himself into a dead end. He sighed softly and said, I don't blame you. Your aunt won't blame you either. We should be thanking you that she's pregnant now. Su Yiyan smiled and secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Su Yuxuan still felt that something was wrong. She frowned and said, I believe you when you say that Grandpa gave you the information. After all, Grandpa has so many books. It's reasonable for you to occasionally find 1 or 2 miscellaneous books that you're interested in. But what about those medicinal herb seeds? Su Yuxuan stared at her sister, trying to find an answer from her eyes. How do you explain those medicinal herb seeds? I heard that those seeds aren't in the research institute. Where did you find them? Chapter 304. Su Yiyan's heart skipped a beat when she heard this. She secretly rejoiced at her grandfather's foresight. Back when she decided to give the seeds to the research institute, her grandfather was worried about her situation and generously gave her an empty shell team at the border. To the outside world, it was said to be involved in all kinds of zoology and botany research. Su Yiyan's Chinese herbs were accidentally discovered there. Of course, this empty shell team was just a false name to deceive some observant people. They would still know what they needed to know. It was just that in the game between superiors, most people only cared about benefits. They had a tacit understanding that no one should cross the line. Those seeds were the research results of one of my grandfather's subsidiary companies. The research only started a year ago. However, I was the one who provided the idea. After Su Yiyan finished speaking, she glanced at her brother and snorted coldly. She pretended to be angry and said, If you don't believe me, you can ask grandfather. Su Yuxuan looked embarrassed and said, Okay. It's not that I don't believe you. I'm just worried that you'll be deceived. Su Yiyan raised her eyebrows and sneered. Deceived? Are you saying that grandfather lied to me? No. I definitely didn't mean that. Su Yuxuan didn't have as much face as his sister in front of grandfather Cheng. In front of this elder, he was just like his brothers and sisters in the same generation. He was more or less afraid. Now that Su Yiyan mentioned grandfather Cheng, he was at his wit's end. He quickly raised the white flag and begged for mercy. It's my fault. I said the wrong thing. My good sister, please don't tell grandfather what I said. Now you know how to be afraid. Su Yiyan crossed her arms and turned her head away with a smug look on her face. Neither of them could see the relief on her face. For the time being, she managed to fool the issue of her ability. However, Yi Qiuyang's matter was still a big problem. What do you plan to do about what the old professor just said? Su Yiyan shook her head and said dejectedly, I don't know. Su Yuxuan knew that her sister was soft-hearted and couldn't stand other people begging her. She frowned and reminded her. If you don't want to, just refuse. It's no big deal. The thing is in your hands, so it's yours. You have the right to decide whether to teach it or not. The familiar concern and protection made Su Yiyan relax a little. She smiled and said, I know. I will think about it carefully. Your grandfather and I have to go back tomorrow. I'll leave Xiuuru and the child to you. Cheng Juanhao wanted to stay for a while longer, but there were a lot of things waiting for him to deal with in the main family, so he couldn't delay. Uncle, don't worry. My mother and I will take good care of my aunt and my future cousins. Yes. Su Yiyan, who had carefully dealt with the two of them and did not reveal any flaws, collapsed on the chair as soon as the two of them left, as if he had just fought a great battle. After she caught her breath, she immediately contacted her grandfather, who had been dragged into this mess by her. Grandpa. The moment the call was connected, Su Yiyan could only call out Grandpa. The rest of her words seemed to be blocked by something, and were stuck in her throat. Yes, Old Man Yi went to look for you? Old Master Cheng seemed to hear something wrong in her voice. He asked with concern. Did he bully you? No. Su Yiyan listened to his voice and felt indescribably complicated. Her throat moved a few times before she said in a hoarse voice, I just told a lie. A very big lie to my brother and uncle. Chapter 305. After that, Su Yiyan didn't need Grandpa Cheng to ask further. She repeated what she had just said to the two of them word for word. Grandpa Cheng didn't reprimand Su Yiyan after hearing it. He didn't ask for an answer like the two of them did. He replied indifferently, Okay, I got it. It was as if what Su Yiyan had just said was just a trivial matter. Su Yiyan's heart was heavy. In front of this elder who had always tolerated her and helped her, she showed her truest and most helpless side. Grandpa, why don't you ask? They all want to know. Why don't you ask? Grandpa Cheng was silent for a long time before he sighed. It's normal for young people to have their own little secrets. You've had your own ideas since you were young. Grandpa knows your temperament. If it wasn't for a particularly difficult reason, you would never lie to your family. Yin Yin, you have to remember that even if everyone forces you, Grandpa will always stand by your side unconditionally. He will help you keep your secret and protect you. So don't feel too much pressure in everything. Grandpa is here. When Su Yiyan heard this, she finally couldn't hold back the tears in her eyes. In this uncertain future, she was able to have a family member and an elder who supported her unconditionally. He told her that Grandpa was here. She didn't have to feel any pressure. No matter how heavy the snow was, he would be at the front to help her. In his eyes, she would always be a child who needed to be protected. She would always be a junior who was worthy of his trust. What happened today made Su Yiyan upset. She originally planned to go to the Upper East City in the afternoon to check on the situation, but her plan was put on hold. After arranging the order for the evening with great difficulty, Su Yiyan returned to the family Hua with a heart full of worries. Hua Chenhuan didn't expect Su Yiyan to come back so early. He was surprised and pleasantly surprised at the same time. Why are you back so early? Did you miss me? As soon as he finished speaking, Su Yiyan rushed over to him and hugged him. Yin Yan. Hua Chenhuan was keenly aware that Su Yiyan's mood was not right. He patted her back to comfort her and asked, What happened? Did someone bully you? No, no one bullied me. Then, I want to ask you a question. What? If there's something that benefits the public, but it may not be appreciated by others, or even cause trouble for you and by your family, would you do it? If that's the case, would you still be willing to do it? Hua Chenhuan's eyes turned cold when he heard what she said. He thought of the news that his subordinates had sent over today, and already had some guesses in his mind. I don't think what you said is the most. By you. What for you two? Do you like it? Hua Chenhuan held Su Yiyan's face and forced her to look at him. Do you like it? If you like it, do it. If you don't like it, refuse. You have the right to choose. I'll give you the right to choose. I'll bear any consequences for you. It was a simple promise, but it hid unshakable determination and courage, which made people's hearts sway uncontrollably. I've never cared about benefiting the public, and I don't care if I get the gratitude of others. I've always only cared about you. If you're happy, I'll be happy. If you're sad, I'll be sad. Life is full of emotions, greed, anger, stupidity, and slowness. They all belong to one person. Chapter 306. Su Yiyan was amused by Hua Chenhuan's words. As she laughed, tears came out of her eyes. Grandpa and you'll spoil me like this. Hua Chenhuan used a little strength and placed Su Yiyan on his lap. He teased, I'm curious. What will you be like after I spoil you? Su Yiyan laughed. I'll probably be spoiled and arrogant. I'll climb over your head and show off. For example, if I'm in a bad mood today, you'll sleep in the guest room alone tonight. Hua Chenhuan's eyes darkened, but he said, You've been wronged outside and are in a bad mood. It's natural for me to let you sleep in, but I'm afraid I won't be used to sleeping in separate rooms. Su Yiyan. You won't be used to it? Didn't you sleep alone before? We've only slept together for 2 days, and you're already not used to it? You've developed this habit too quickly. If I wake up in the middle of the night and miss you, and there's no way to enter your room from the front door, I'm afraid I can only learn from others and sneak in through the window. You'll climb through the window? Su Yiyan was angry and amused. Are you crazy? Aren't you afraid of falling if you climb through the window? Su Yiyan couldn't say that word. She could only glare at him. Hua Chenhuan wasn't scared off by Su Yiyan's glare. Instead, he revealed a sly smile. So can you bear to do it? What? Sleeping in separate rooms means a night attack. If you attack me at night, I might get hurt. Can you bear to do it? You. Su Yiyan's eyes narrowed. How could she not understand that she had been tricked? She couldn't bear to hit him, and she didn't know how to scold him. In the end, she could only snort coldly to express her dissatisfaction. Hua Chenhuan didn't intend to let her go so easily. He continued to ask, Can you bear to do it? If you don't answer, I'll take it as a yes. I'll ask Uncle Zhang for a ladder later. Not only did he climb through the window to launch a sneak attack, he even sought outside help. And he even asked Uncle Zhang for help. If he were to spread the news, wouldn't everyone in the family know about it? It might even spread outside. Su Yiyan admitted that she could not afford to lose this kind of face. Her face was so red that it was about to bleed. She flew into a rage out of humiliation. I don't want to, she said. Then how about the rooms? Su Yiyan glared at him fiercely. No more. Hua Chenhuan laughed and said helplessly, Is this what you mean when you say that she is spoiled? If that's the case, I hope you can be more arrogant. Su Yiyan was stunned. She vaguely understood the meaning of Hua Chenhuan's words just now. The tears that she had suppressed with great difficulty once again rushed to her eyes. Hua Chenhuan lowered his head and kissed her eyes. Then he moved down and gently kissed the tear stains on her face. There wasn't the slightest bit of lust. There was only tenderness and heartache. There was also a trace of inhumane possessiveness. Do what you want to do. Don't underestimate your husband. Even if the sky falls, I can hold it up. When Su Yiyan heard him say this, her expression was a little subtle. He could hold it up even if the sky fell. In her previous life he had done it. After she died, he personally pierced the sky, causing the world to collapse. Because of this, she was given a chance to start over. You're so powerful, but it makes me look stupid. If you're not stupid, how can I, as your husband, be useful? So I beg you, be a little stupid, be a little more aggressive, rely on me more, and find something for me to do, okay? Chapter 307. Hua Chenhuan's comfort stabilized Su Yiyan's emotions, but she did not come to a conclusion immediately, not to mention whether she would agree to Yi Qiuliang's proposal in the end. Even if she did, she should think about what to ask of him. The next morning, Su Yiyan woke up early to report to Upper East City. The variety show from before has ended? Yes, it just ended this Friday. Xia Junxing followed Su Yiyan into the office and gave her a brief report of what had happened in the company during this period. There were 7 people in the final group, and 3 of them were from our company. Su Yiyan sat on the person in charge's swivel chair, and simply turned around. She asked curiously, 3 people? Who are they? They are Zheng Qiuying, Huang Zitong and Yin Luoshan. Yin Luoshan? That little girl beside Yu Yusher last time? Su Yiyan raised her eyebrows. If she remembered correctly, that girl seemed to be in the 20th position at that time, which was why she was squeezed out by Wen Jingping. How long had it been? Had she improved so much? How are her abilities? She sings very well. Her voice is quite recognizable and steady. She's not very good at dancing. Xia Junxing was a little surprised that this girl could persist until the end. I heard that she tried her best to suppress Wen Jingping in the second half of the show. She worked very hard. Su Yiyan nodded thoughtfully and smiled. She knows how to use her strength to shut people up, not her ability and bravery. Not bad. It's just that most young people her age don't have independent opinions and are easily influenced by others. Who's her manager? How's his character and ability? Her manager's surname seems to be Chow. He's been in the company for almost 2 to 3 years. His surname is Chow? Su Yiyan frowned. Has he groomed any famous artists? I don't think so. Su Yiyan pondered for a moment, then turned her attention to the other two people. What about the other two? How are your abilities? The other two are more versatile types, especially Zhang Qiuying. She's now the captain of a group. Both of them are very popular and can develop in the direction of being versatile artists. Xia Junsheng subconsciously glanced at Su Yiyan when he said this. These two were the ones that Su Yiyan had specifically mentioned that they could focus on nurturing. With their abilities, even without Su Yiyan's words that day, the company would definitely focus on promoting them. However, he was able to tell with a single glance that these two were more capable than the others. This insight was enough to make him treat them differently. To put it bluntly, an entertainment company was just an investment, and the company's artists were their investment targets. If the value that the artist brought to the company exceeded the resources that they had obtained for him, it meant that the investment was a success. Otherwise, it would be a failure. As a company's decision-maker, it was crucial to the company's future development whether he could become one of the best steeds that Bo Lu had chosen, or whether he would be blind and miss the pearls of the sea because of a pile of fish eyes. Su Yiyan pondered for a moment, as if she had already expected this outcome. Where's their manager? Is he the same as Yin Luoshan? That's not it. Xia Junxing flipped through the relevant information of the two and quickly found the information about this manager. He's a newcomer behind the scenes. He used to do variety shows. The reason why he can manage Zhang Qiuying and the others is that they were discovered by him. Chapter 308. When Xia Junxing said this, he subconsciously asked Su Yiyan, "Do you want to change their manager?" Su Yiyan pondered for a moment and shook her head. Let's see his ability first. Don't underestimate the connections of people in the industry. Xia Junxing's eyes flashed slightly, and he did not speak again. After understanding the remaining 3 Miao Miao, Su Yiyan asked the unlucky one, "How's Yu Yusher's injury?" "She's already recovering, but..." "What?" "She originally planned to be a singer, so this injury will definitely take some time to recuperate. Also, she signed the shortest 3-year contract. Although there are still more than 2 years left, the Yu family is very likely to terminate her contract and withdraw from the entertainment industry after this incident." This result was also within Su Yiyan's expectations. It's a pity. Yu Yusher was able to enter the top 20 without relying on her identity as the second daughter of the Yu family. Moreover, she was ranked relatively high, which meant that she had some ability. Before this, she had also heard from Xia Junxing that she did not enter the entertainment industry for fun. She really wanted to work hard and make a career for herself. She was driven and her family background was there. What was the saying? The scary thing was not that others were better than you, but that those who were better than you were worked harder than you. If the Yu family really insists on terminating the contract, and she herself has this intention, then let's terminate it. There's no need to have a conflict with the Yu family because of this. Xia Junxing breathed a sigh of relief and secretly rejoiced that they did not spend a lot of resources on Yu Yusher. If they really terminated the contract, the loss would not be particularly great. By the way, there's one more thing. What is it? How's Ning Qiurui's illness? It's slowly getting better. Su Yiyan looked up at Xia Junxing as if she sensed something. Why are you suddenly asking about him? Did something happen? He hasn't taken any jobs during this period of recuperation. His fans seemed to have noticed and mistakenly thought that the company had frozen him, so they started to support other newcomers. Su Yiyan frowned. She had been busy with the wedding and the restaurant, so she hadn't been online for a long time. This was the first time she knew about this. I understand. Ning Qirui's family already knows about his illness, so there's no need to continue hiding it. I will arrange for him to post a status update to tell those fans the truth. When the time comes, remember to let the company's official account repost it to show the company's attitude towards this matter. Xia Junxing was, after all, a veteran of the company. When he heard Su Yiyan's words, he was keenly aware that it was a great opportunity to improve the company's image and gain a favorable impression from the fans. Immediately he said, "Okay, the PR department will carefully consider the words according to Ning Qirui's post." Yes. However, it will take at least a few more months for that guy to recover. During this period of time, the company can't do nothing. We have to cultivate more new blood. You don't have to worry about that. Shui Kaiwei and Hong Hui will be back soon. When the time comes, they can help heal a few newbies. Shui Kaiwei and Hong Hui were the stars of Dongqing City. One was a movie queen, and the other was a heavenly king. With these two top stars leading the way, the newbies could indeed take fewer detours, but be careful. Don't end up with a bad reputation. The gains don't make up for the losses. Taking a shortcut had its benefits, but it also came with a certain risk. Understood. As the two were talking, there was a sudden knock on the office door. Then, a female secretary pushed the door and came in. She looked embarrassed and said, "President Su, there's a couple downstairs who want to see you." Chapter 309. Couple? Su Yiyan's face darkened. She immediately thought of two people. After going around in circles, were they back to the original plot? But this time, Xia Junxing frowned when he heard the female secretary's words. He said sternly and unhappily, "Are you just going to let them do as they please? What did I tell you before? Outsiders have to make an appointment in advance to see President Su. We are an entertainment company. How can we casually let unknown people in? What if something happens? If those two dare to cause trouble here, we'll get the security to kick them out." But the female secretary looked troubled. But those two people said that they knew Director Su and were his friends. They even threatened to fire us if we didn't come up and report. Su Yiyan laughed sinisterly. "I don't know when I got to know such arrogant and domineering friends. Did they say what their names were?" Yes. The man said his surname was Hua. Hua. Could it be? Xia Junxing instinctively looked at Su Yiyan with a subtle expression. Su Yiyan saw through his thoughts. The corners of her mouth twitched. She said helplessly, "Do you think the group of people downstairs would be able to stop my husband if it was him?" Xia Junxing was slightly taken aback. Wasn't that right? If the new son-in-law came, these people would probably bring him up directly, let alone report to him. Also, she just said that they were a couple. Wasn't he afraid that she would skin him alive when they got home? At that moment, Hua Chenhuan, who had just received news that those two people were looking for trouble with his wife, suddenly felt a chill run down his spine. The raging anger in his heart suddenly subsided. Xia Junxing couldn't help but rub his nose awkwardly when he heard this. He was so focused on the fact that the man's surname was Gu that he forgot that the female secretary had mentioned that they were a couple. However, the couple's surname was Hua. Could it be? Xia Junxing's face completely darkened when he thought of this. "Since they're already here, let's go down and meet these ignorant weirdos," said Su Yiyan as she walked out. Xia Junxing was worried and hurriedly followed. "Yiyan, those two people are making a fuss downstairs asking to see you. It's obvious that they are not here with good intentions. Wouldn't it be too?" Before Xia Junxing could finish, Su Yiyan interrupted him. "What we want is for them to come with ill intentions. Have you forgotten who I am now?" What was his identity? Xia Junxing frowned slightly and answered tentatively, "The boss of the East City?" "No, I'm Hua Chenhuan's wife, Mrs. Hua's family Hua." Xia Junxing was stunned. After her reminder, he finally remembered the messy relationship in the family Hua. For a moment he didn't know what to say. Why are there a few people carrying cameras over there? Did they bring it? Su Yiyan had just come down from upstairs when she saw a few reporters with cameras blocking the entrance of the company from afar. The female secretary followed closely behind Su Yiyan and answered cautiously, "I don't think so. These people seem to be here to interview a few of our company's female artists." Interview? Su Yiyan narrowed her eyes and joked. "In a while, go over and lure them closer so that you can take more photos." "Su photos? Just say that our company is giving them a piece of big news for free. In exchange, they can't ask any random questions when interviewing our artists." Chapter 310. The female secretary was a little confused, but she didn't dare to ask. While Hua Xiaofeng and his assistant were focused on Su Yiyan, she hurriedly ran out and negotiated with the people carrying the cameras. When Hua Xiaofeng and his assistant saw Su Yiyan coming down, they immediately rushed over aggressively. Su Yiyan narrowed her eyes and didn't go down. She just stood on the stairs with her arms crossed and looked down at the two of them. "What are you doing here? It seems that what happened 2 nights ago wasn't enough to teach you a lesson. You've only been in the hospital for a day, and you're already out. My aunt really didn't go easy on you." Hua Xiaofeng originally came to denounce them. When he heard Su Yiyan's words, his anger soared. If Wen Jingping hadn't held him back, he would have gone to beat them up in the morning. Su Yiyan was so relaxed because she knew that he wouldn't be able to hit them. She knew better than anyone else that a certain someone was a White Lotus B***TCH. If he really hit them as soon as he came up, and if it was a man hitting a woman, how could she continue to pretend to be pitiful and put herself on the moral high ground? Unfortunately, Wen Jingping was destined to be disappointed today. She stood here facing them today to let this woman relive the nightmare of losing everything in the hospital last time. "What? You want to hit me again?" Su Yiyan looked at the two of them with disdain and disgust. "You came to my territory and wanted to hit me, the owner. Do you really think that my security guards are just decorations?" Hua Xiaofeng and his assistant narrowed their eyes, and their hearts skipped a beat. Only then did they notice that the security guards, who were originally observing them from afar, had quietly gathered around them. They had a serious look on their faces that said, "If they dare to act rashly, they'll immediately pin them down." Hua Xiaofeng's aura suddenly weakened a little, but he still sneered. "So what if you hit me? Su Yiyan, don't think that you married Hua Chenhuan." Hua Xiaofeng wanted to blurt out the word cripple, but he suddenly felt a pain in his lower body. The beating he had received earlier had left a huge psychological shadow on him. Before he came here, he had a belly full of anger and his heartache for Wen Jingping, which made him temporarily forget how terrifying Su Yiyan was. Now that he thought about it, his imposing manner weakened a bit, and he didn't have the same confidence as before. "Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you married into the family Hua. Everyone knows that my father is in charge of the family Hua. Hua Chenhuan he." At first, Su Yiyan was still lazily watching Hua Xiaofeng stomp his feet. However, when he heard Hua Chenhuan's name, his face sank and became aggressive. "Young Master Hua, since you already know that I'm married to your youngest uncle, you should know that in terms of seniority, you should call me aunt. Is this how the Hua family teaches you to call your elders by their names and yell at them?" Hua Xiaofeng instantly choked and retorted fiercely, "Don't forget that you're also a member of the family Hua now." "Oh, if that's the case, I shouldn't have said that. Let me correct you. Is this the way your family Hua, who has already moved out of the old mansion, is raised?" As soon as these words came out, Hua Xiaofeng's face turned completely green. It could be said that the head of the family lived in the old mansion. It was a common rule in every family. However, when Hua Chenhuan's father left a will, he gave the Hua Corporation to Hua Qihan, but the old mansion was given to Hua Chenhuan. As a result, their family had no choice but to move out of the old mansion, which made them the butt of many people's jokes. Su Yiyan brought up the old matter at this time, and it was obvious that she was poking at their hearts. Chapter 311. You. Hua Xiaofeng's face was livid. He was so angry that he almost rushed up to her without caring about anything else. Wen Jingping was shocked. She quickly hugged his waist and stopped him. Xiaofeng, calm down, calm down. How do you expect me to calm down? This B***TCH is clearly Xiaofeng. It was rare for Wen Jingping to yell at Hua Xiaofeng in a loud voice. In her heart, she also felt a trace of resentment and disdain for the man she had chosen. If Hua Xiaofeng's impulsiveness had been a big advantage in her eyes before, then after experiencing how he couldn't protect her in front of her parents and dragged her down at such a critical moment, this advantage had become completely useless. Now she even doubted herself. Was it right for her to choose Hua Xiaofeng as her future reliance? It had to be said that Wen Jingping's yell had some effect. Hua Xiaofeng's struggling strength paused. He looked at Wen Jingping with a bit more accusation in his eyes. Wen Jingping lowered her eyes to avoid his gaze, hiding the impatience and annoyance in her eyes. Miss Su, Xiaofeng was just too anxious. He didn't want to have a conflict with you. You are a magnanimous person. Don't lower yourself to his level. Oh. Su Yiyan responded indifferently and waited for Wen Jingping's performance. Wen Jingping didn't expect Su Yiyan's reaction to be so cold. She was a bit choked at the moment. After a while, she finally found her voice again. She said softly and weakly, "Actually, we came here today to ask Miss Su something in person." Su Yiyan didn't answer. Wen Jingping waited for a while before she awkwardly continued. "We want to ask Miss Su, are you the current boss of Dongqing City? And is Dongqing City also involved in the investment of Future Star? This should have nothing to do with you, right?" Hua Xiaofeng suddenly became anxious. "How can it have nothing to do with us? Little Pingxi." Wen Jingping took a step forward and interrupted Hua Xiaofeng before he could finish his sentence. "Miss Su, I admit that I've wronged you before. But no matter what, this is still a private matter. You're being irresponsible to your company and your employees." "That's right. You're being irresponsible." Su Yiyan was almost amused by her righteous accusation. "My employees know very well whether or not I'm responsible for my company and my employees. Where did you, an outsider, get the courage and shamelessness to point fingers at me? Are we close?" Wen Jingping was stunned. She opened her mouth and was about to say something when Su Yiyan waved at the girls at the front desk and asked them to come over. "This lady said that I'm not responsible for the company, and I'm not responsible for you. Is that what you think too?" The girls looked at each other, not knowing what to do. "It's fine. Tell me honestly, how have I treated you? How has the company treated you?" "I promise that no one in the company, including me, can do anything to you. There are so many people here who can be witnesses. The company is very good. We have all the benefits we should have. We don't have too much work on a daily basis, and we've never been deducted during holidays. And the people in the company are very kind, unlike some companies that don't treat the receptionists as human beings." With the first one, the few people behind him were no longer nervous. They hurriedly echoed, "Yes, yes, yes. Our company's atmosphere is very good. On normal holidays and employees' birthdays, they will send us small cakes, fruits, and gifts." Chapter 312. In my opinion, these are not the most important things. Isn't the most important thing that you can meet all kinds of stars at the gate every day and ask for their autographs occasionally? The girls were chattering about the various benefits of the company and did not notice the extremely ugly faces of the two men. Wen Jingping saw that before she could accuse Su Yiyan of using public resources for personal gain, Su Yiyan changed the topic and inexplicably promoted the employee benefits of Su Yiyan's management company. Her expression was extremely ugly. Hua Xiaofeng frowned and jumped out almost immediately after hearing their discussion. "You are the boss of the company. As long as they don't want to lose their jobs, they can't say bad things about the company in front of you." Su Yiyan narrowed his eyes and sneered. "According to what you said, someone is complaining about our company's system behind your back? Since everyone is here today, why don't you call that person out and confront him? If it's really my fault and the company's fault, I'll ask all the company's executives to apologize to him." Hua Xiaofeng choked. He did not understand how the topic had changed to this point. Su Yiyan had the initiative and everyone's attention was diverted by him. Most importantly, he could not call that person out at all. The so-called Su Yiyan abusing his power for personal gain was originally their guess and imagination after they found out that Su Yiyan was the boss of Dongqing Entertainment, and Dongqing Entertainment happened to be the main investor of Future Star. It's still the same sentence. They only dare to say these words behind your back. If they really come up to you, will you let them go? That's funny. They are unwilling to stay in the company and suffer, but they can't bear to leave this job? Don't you think it's contradictory? Su Yiyan's casual words nailed Hua Xiaofeng to a dead end. The others gradually came to their senses. Wasn't that right? According to Su Yiyan, the so-called employees that Hua Xiaofeng mentioned were people who were dissatisfied with the company, but were reluctant to leave because of the benefits that the company could bring them. Was his complaint about Hua Xiaofeng just a casual remark out of spite? Or was he purposely urging Hua Xiaofeng to be the first to stand out for him? If it was the former, then Hua Xiaofeng's actions could be considered as meddling in other people's business. That employee probably hated him now. If it was the latter, then Hua Xiaofeng was an idiot. He had been sold, yet he still wanted to count the money. No matter which type it was, he belonged to the thankless type. The gazes of the people around him instantly became thought-provoking. What a pity he looked like a dog, but his brain wasn't that smart. How could Hua Xiaofeng not see the pity and mockery in everyone's eyes? He was a young master who had been spoiled since he was a child. How could he endure such humiliation? His face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Su Yiyan only felt an indescribable sense of irony and satisfaction. Of course, she knew that Hua Xiaofeng couldn't find the culprit. Because she knew very well that the reason why Hua Xiaofeng was angry was because of Wen Jingping, and not because of the so-called internal employees of the company. But if she thought about it carefully, this virtual employee was very similar to Wen Jingping. For her own benefit, she asked Hua Xiaofeng to bring her here. She watched with an innocent and hurt face the whole time. She asked Hua Xiaofeng to stand up for her, and added fuel to the fire from time to time. She didn't seem to have much of a presence, but in fact, she simply treated Hua Xiaofeng as a marionette. Only Hua Xiaofeng, the idiot, didn't realize it and thought that he was the dominant one between the two. Chapter 313. No matter what, this is an internal matter of our company. The person involved didn't say anything, so why are you jumping into a rage? Su Yiyan rolled her eyes at Hua Xiaofeng mockingly. She changed the topic and said with a faint smile, "Or do you want to represent all the employees of our company because you're not an employee of our company? Why don't you ask them if they're willing to be represented by you?" Hua Xiaofeng was stunned. Only then did he notice that the girls that Su Yiyan had called over, as well as the other employees of the company who had heard the news, were all looking at him with disdain. Obviously, they didn't want to be represented by him. Su Yiyan was too lazy to argue with this fool. She looked at Wen Jingping, whose face was slightly pale, and said, "And Miss Wen, you just said that you let me down. I'm curious, what did you do to me? Come, tell us. Let us all hear it." Wen Jingping avoided her gaze and said ambiguously, It's not important. It's all in the past." Look at what she said. People who didn't know better might think that she was the victim. She was the main culprit. What right did she have to say that it was not important, and that it was all in the past? Su Yiyan smiled coldly and said, "Then what do you think is important?" When Hua Xiaofeng heard Su Yiyan's words, he immediately stepped forward and shielded Wen Jingping behind him. He looked like a hero saving a damsel in distress and said, "Of course it's because you hate little Ping because of what happened before. You deliberately interfered with the results of the competition and eliminated little Ping. If you're not abusing your position to take revenge, then what are you? You think I'm the one who eliminated her? Who else could it be if not you?" After being reborn, Su Yiyan still couldn't understand how Hua Xiaofeng could become the world's male lead with such a weird brain circuit. What evidence do you have to prove that I eliminated her? Just because I'm now the person in charge of Dongqing, and Dongqing is one of the big investors of that variety show? Hua Xiaofeng frowned. Just as he was about to speak, Wen Jingping spoke up weakly behind him. I know my ability is limited, but in the end Dongqing took up 3 spots. Although I'm not saying that they're bad, isn't this kind of result a little unfair to those girls who worked hard? Wen Jingping made it sound as if the reason why the 3 girls in her company were able to survive until the end was because of the company's investment. With just a few words, he had erased all the hard work of others. How vicious was his mind? Even Su Yiyan could not help but get angry. She immediately retorted. Look at what Miss Wen is saying. How capable are the artists in our company? How capable are you? Don't you have any idea? Wen Jingping was not prepared for Su Yiyan's sudden attack. She was stunned for a few seconds before she thought of retorting, but she was rebuked again. In Miss Wen's opinion, what do you think is fair? What is the competition in the entertainment industry? It's a competition of popularity and ability. You just said that our company took up 3 spots among the 7 people in the end. That's right, I'm proud of those 3 girls. Because they are capable and talented, and their abilities and talents have been recognized by a wide range of audiences. They have been loved by those who recognize their excellence. They deserve these 3 spots. It's not just them. The 7 people who formed the team at the end of the show also deserved it. People with ability are destined to be famous. On the contrary, Miss Wen. Chapter 314. Su Yiyan stared into Wen Jingping's eyes and walked down the stairs step by step. Miss Wen, do you think you're qualified to be one of the 7 contestants? Popularity? If I remember correctly, after Miss Wen successfully passed the preliminary round of the audition, she did something evil. She was suspected of blackmailing a new host on a website. However, she was countersued and lost a lot of money. As a result, her popularity plummeted. After that, there was a quarrel between the top 20 contestants. She caused a lot of trouble and caused a huge negative impact on the program team. Wen Jingping's face was livid. She opened her trembling mouth and wanted to refute, but she realized that she could not say anything. According to the contract of the program team, the female artists participating in the program must ensure that their reputation is positive during the recording period. During this period, if the artist's negative reputation affects the program team has the right to withdraw the artist from the competition and ask the artist to compensate the program team for the series of losses caused by her. This contract requirement was very common. Most of the contracts signed before going on variety shows, shooting commercials, and joining the production team would have such a clause. After all, investors also needed to make money. For artists with bad records who could not bring a positive impact to their investment products, and could even smear their products, the best they could do was to minimize their losses. Su Yiyan's identity at that time happened to be one of the investors who held Wen Jingping's lifeline. According to what you said, if I really used my identity as an investor to take revenge, then I should have informed the program team to kick her out directly. Why would I wait until the end? Why don't you investigate whether Miss Wen's reputation is more positive or negative because of the previous 2 incidents? When Su Yiyan said this, she looked at Wen Jingping meaningfully. Miss Wen, are you here to tell me this now because you want to remind me to seriously calculate how much losses you've caused to the production team? Do you want to take responsibility? Wen Jingping's expression changed slightly, and she subconsciously took a step back. Hua Xiaofeng subconsciously retorted. Why didn't you think of kicking Wen Jingping out of the program team at that time? It was me. Xiaofeng. Wen Jingping hurriedly pulled Hua Xiaofeng's sleeve to stop him from continuing. She had almost been kicked out of the show twice because she had asked Hua Xiaofeng for help. Although she didn't manage to stay until the end, the program crew had indeed changed their mind after Hua Xiaofeng called them. Wen Jingping naturally thought that the program crew had made her stay because of Hua Xiaofeng's pressure. They came here today to prove that Su Yiyan was targeting her because of her past. She used the program crew's malicious editing to discredit her, and even sacrificed the company's artists to ruin her reputation. She wanted to wash away the bad reputation that she had attracted before and splash a basin of dirty water on Su Yiyan and the company under her name. However, if Hua Xiaofeng revealed that he had pressured the program crew to make her stay, she would be the one who had taken shortcuts by the unspoken rules. What right did she have to stand on the high ground and criticize others? It was you what? The more Su Yiyan looked at Hua Xiaofeng, the more she felt that he was a fool. She had only refuted a few words and he was about to explode. She didn't feel any sense of accomplishment at all. Wen Jingping looked at Su Yiyan's calm and composed appearance, and suddenly felt a trace of fear that she had never felt before. This time, she seemed to have accidentally provoked a demon. Chapter 315. After being pulled back by Wen Jingping, Hua Xiaofeng realized that he had almost spilled the beans. His face darkened and he was speechless. Su Yiyan was sure that he wouldn't dare to say it out loud. She raised her eyebrows and pressed on. Why aren't you saying anything? Hua Xiaofeng glared at Su Yiyan angrily. He had no choice but to swallow his grievances. It seems that you've also realized the loophole in your logic. You can't say anything to refute me. Hua Xiaofeng gritted his teeth. If it weren't for Wen Jingping grabbing his arm tightly, he would have pounced on Su Yiyan and torn her apart. However, if he really pounced on her, it was hard to say who would be torn apart. Su Yiyan didn't intend to let them off so easily. Her gaze fell on Wen Jingping. Looking at her pleading and fearful eyes, she raised her eyebrows slightly. She was surprised and amused. It was too late to be afraid now. She didn't have the time or energy to play with these two idiots. However, they were so eager to be slapped in the face. How could she show mercy? Now that we're done talking about popularity, let's talk about ability. Wen Jingping's face turned pale. Just like what Su Yiyan had said before. Did she not have the slightest idea of whether she was capable or not? Early on, when it was time to advance from 100 to 60, there were people who questioned why she was allowed to stay when she couldn't even sing or dance. This question became more and more intense as she advanced. Many people who were more capable than her had been eliminated, but she was still allowed to stay. Was there some kind of shady deal? Because of this, many fans of the show became her haters. If it weren't for the die-hard fans she had accumulated during her previous live broadcasts, and Hua Xiaofeng secretly throwing money to help her buy votes, she would have been eliminated long ago. I know that I'm not a professional, and I'm lacking in many aspects, but I've really worked hard. And the result of your efforts? As soon as Wen Jingping finished speaking, Su Yiyan pointed out the main point with a cold face. Do you sing a song that will satisfy the audience, or do you dance a dance that will make the audience explode? Wen Jingping's Achilles heel was hit. Her whole body shook and she subconsciously took a step back. Seeing this, Hua Xiaofeng hurriedly helped her up and said indignantly, Little Ping said she tried her best. Why are you forcing her like this? I forced her? When did I force her? If telling the truth is considered forcing someone, then I am indeed forcing her. You. Hua Xiaofeng roared in exasperation. You're so mean. How can you always focus on her shortcomings? Can't you look at her strengths? On what basis? What? Hua Xiaofeng was confused by Su Yiyan's sudden question. Why do I have to look at her strengths? The program team selection list clearly states that the talent show wants to select truly outstanding talents, not experiencers who come here to play house and treat the competition as child's play. If young master who doesn't understand what this means, I can reluctantly explain it for you. What it means is that this is a competition. It's a competition that is based on ability and audience popularity. Nothing else matters. Have you ever heard of contestants who sign up for a competition and are about to go on stage saying to the organizers, Sorry, I'm a newbie. Can you let the experienced veterans go easy on me and give me a ranking? Hua Xiaofeng, don't treat everyone like fools. No one has the obligation to spoil you. Chapter 316. Hua Xiaofeng's face turned green, then white, then green again. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Su Yiyan didn't care about how he felt. She had been holding it in since her previous life, and today, she could finally vent it out. You said that she worked hard. Fine, I'll take it that she worked hard. She worked so hard, but she still turned in such a terrible stage performance. That only shows that she's not suitable for this industry at all. As far as I know, there are many people who work harder than her in the program. They don't even have a foundation like her, but they turn things around through their own efforts. There are also many people who shine on the stage. Why can others do it, but you can't? Why can't those who are better than you be eliminated, but you can't? Wen Jingping subconsciously wanted to refute, but when she looked up, she met Su Yiyan's cold eyes. At this time, Su Yiyan had already walked down from upstairs and was approaching the two of them step by step. Hua Xiaofeng subconsciously wanted to stop her, but she slapped him away. He staggered a few steps before he could stand firm. The onlookers were speechless. Seeing that Su Yiyan was approaching the two dangerous people, Xia Junsheng, who hurried downstairs to help, was speechless. Hua Xiaofeng was stunned for a few seconds before he reacted. He wanted to go forward and stop Su Yiyan, but he was already held down by Xia Junsheng and a few security guards. What are you doing? Let me go, let me go. Do you know who I am? I'm the heir of the Hua Corporation. After being restrained, Hua Xiaofeng was so angry that he shouted and brought up the Hua Corporation and Hua Qihan. The people around him looked at him like he was an idiot. The reporters who were waiting not far away were so excited that they recorded this scene. They even thought of the news title. The heir of the Hua Corporation makes a scene in Dongcheng. Angry because of his girlfriend? A strange man is caught making a scene in Dongcheng. He screams that his father is XXX. If they knew about the marriage between Su Yiyan and Hua Xiaofeng, they might come up with even more explosive topics. Su Yiyan ignored Hua Xiaofeng's stupidity and walked up to Wen Jingping. Heaven rewards the diligent. Opportunities are always reserved for those who are prepared. If you think it's unfair that you were eliminated, then if you were really selected, would it be fair to those who have more ability, potential, and work harder than you? To put it bluntly, she was just being selfish. Or did she really think that she was the woman of destiny and that everyone had to give in to her and support her? If you're slightly unhappy, you'll think that someone is targeting you? No, I didn't. You didn't? Then what did you mean when you hinted that you shouldn't have been eliminated? Explain it to me. Su Yiyan narrowed her eyes and said clearly, or do you think that you can beat everyone with your face alone, better than hard work and talent? Every time Su Yiyan took a step forward, Wen Jingping took a step back. When she heard Su Yiyan's words, she tripped and fell on her own. Wen Jingping, who was sitting on the ground, was stunned. In a trance, she seemed to feel the eyes on her from all directions. The scornful, sarcastic, and even disgusted gazes made her feel as if she had returned to her previous life, where everyone looked down on her and anyone could bully her. Finally, Wen Jingping could no longer stand the malice of the people around her. She screamed, got up from the ground, and rushed out of the Dongqing gate with her face covered. Chapter 317. Wen Jingping's scream was so loud and shrill that it gave the onlookers goosebumps. Hua Xiaofeng was also stunned for a few seconds before he came back to his senses. He roared, "Little Ping." If one didn't know better, they would have thought that something had happened between the two of them, and that they were separated forever. Hua Xiaofeng struggled even harder, and the bodyguards almost lost their grip on him. Xia Junxing gave the bodyguards a look, and they let go of Hua Xiaofeng's hands. Hua Xiaofeng couldn't stop in time, and almost fell flat on his face. He barely steadied himself, and rushed out of the door with a dark expression on his face. He couldn't be bothered to look for trouble with Xia Junsheng and the bodyguards. Tisk. Su Yiyan watched the two of them disappear into the distance. His eyes were full of melancholy. They ran away just like that. How boring. Xia Junsheng, who was thinking about how to clean up the mess, was speechless. After he sighed with melancholy, Su Yiyan turned his head and waved at the reporters. The reporters looked at each other and hesitated for a moment before they walked up to Su Yiyan. They said in a trembling voice, "Hello, President Su. We are reporters from Yueshang magazine. We are here to interview your company. Did you record everything that happened just now?" The reporters suddenly became nervous again. They were afraid that Su Yiyan would go back on his word and asked them to delete the footage. The leader of the senior reporters swallowed hard and said truthfully, "Yes, we did." "That's good." Su Yiyan sighed softly. "You saw it just now." She fell because her legs went weak. It has nothing to do with me. With the video, I shouldn't be blamed for this. Fortunately, I'm lucky. The reporters were speechless. Xia Junsheng was speechless. Was this the main point? Now that he thought about it, this was indeed the main point. The two of them were pestering him endlessly. They obviously didn't have the ability but still pretended to be innocent and tried to scam him. It wasn't impossible. Send a copy of the video to the Public Relations Department. It'll be insurance. Okay, we'll send it right away. It was just a request. How could they refuse? The same old reporter from before asked tentatively. Then this report. You can write whatever you want. I guarantee that the Hua Corporation won't be able to do anything to you. However, the premise is that you have to report it truthfully and don't add unnecessary things on your own initiative. Otherwise, Su Yiyan's eyes turned cold, revealing a hint of coldness and threat. You don't want to know the consequences. The old reporter wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and hurriedly said, I understand. As reporters, we should seek truth from facts and convey real-time and accurate information to the public. This is what we should do. That's it then. My secretary should have mentioned it to you just now. Thank you for taking care of our company's artists. There will be many more opportunities for cooperation in the future. Although it was Su Yiyan's first time dealing with these reporters, he knew to give them a carrot after a stick. Her words could be considered as giving these reporters a good impression. After all, there were quite a number of artists in their company. As long as they handled this matter well, there would be many more opportunities for them to interview others in the future. Okay. Su Yiyan said a few words to them, and then handed the follow-up to Xia Junsheng. She stretched and went upstairs to continue understanding the internal affairs of the company. Unexpectedly, just as she entered the office, Hua Chenhuan's video call came. Chapter 318. Su Yiyan's eyes lit up. She picked up the phone without thinking. Chenhuan. Are you okay? I'm on my way there now. Xiaoyang is closer to you. Su Yiyan was stunned. You know? I'm fine. They are the ones who are in trouble. You don't know how embarrassed they were just now. Ha. After that, Su Yiyan told Hua Chenhuan everything that had happened not long ago. From time to time, she laughed happily, taking pleasure in other people's misfortune. Hua Chenhuan listened quietly. His eyes were full of tenderness and indulgence. It's really funny. I didn't even think about messing with them, but they rushed to touch my eyebrows. They thought I didn't know what they were thinking. They wanted to splash all kinds of dirty water on me and you. They really thought I was a soft persimmon, and I didn't know how to resist at all. Even a clay figurine has some temper. Hua Chenhuan's eyes narrowed dangerously when he heard that. He agreed and said, they've gone too far. The anger in Su Yiyan's heart subsided slightly because of Hua Chenhuan's words, and a smile appeared on her face. Forget it. When those reporters expose this matter, it'll be enough for them to suffer. Just take it as the price for them to extort our company and our artists. Free publicity for our company and publicity for our artists. Su Yiyan smiled like a little raccoon that had stolen honey. She was charmingly naive, but also a little mischievous. After today, everyone in the circle will know how good our company's benefits are and how outstanding our artists are. After Su Yiyan finished speaking, she lifted her chin and gave Hua Chenhuan a suggestive glance. Her face was filled with a smug expression that said, Aren't I great? And quickly praise me. Hua Chenhuan didn't praise her as she wanted. Instead, he said with some distress, If the media publicize this matter, I'm afraid it will involve your previous matter. Su Yiyan knew what he was worried about. He smiled and said, I know, but I don't mind, and I don't avoid these things. If you don't want others to know, then don't do it in the first place. What has already happened cannot be hidden forever. Instead of caring about those rumors and trying hard to hide them, it's better to take the initiative to face them and transform the past into something that's useful to you. In any case, I'm the victim here. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not the one who should be worried about being exposed and condemned. Su Yiyan could more or less guess what kind of negative comments he would receive after this matter was exposed. At most, it was the so-called "it takes two to clap" of some stinky straight men. And the "love is supreme" of the Virgin Mary. Compared to these irrelevant comments, Hua Xiaofeng and Wen Jingping needed to suffer the most fatal condemnation. At least for Wen Jingping, the title of mistress was confirmed. Her path to becoming a Mary Sue in the entertainment industry was cut off. The only thing that Su Yiyan was more worried about was that the shameless family might use her marriage with Hua Qinhuan and Hua Qinhuan's leg to criticize her. Thinking of this, Su Yiyan said apologetically, "I'm sorry. This time, I might implicate you and make you be criticized. If being scolded and ridiculed is the price I have to pay for marrying you, I hope they'll scold me a few more times and scold me more fiercely." If it were in the past, he might have been angry and hurt by these so-called verbal attacks. But now, no matter how vicious the ridicule was, it couldn't hurt him, because he already had the most beautiful thing in the world. And it was also the thing he wanted the most. Chapter 319. Su Yiyan was both touched and amused. Who likes to be scolded by others? Hua Qinhuan looked at the smile on Su Yiyan's face. The corners of her lips curled up slightly, but she did not comment. Su Yiyan's matter was almost settled on her own, so Hua Qinhuan did not continue to rush over. Su Yiyan had a lot of things to do. After comforting Hua Qinhuan for a while, she took the lead and hung up the video call. After hanging up the video call, Hua Qinhuan's face quickly became gloomy. She directly gave Zhu Yanbai an instruction. "You can send out the press release that you prepared earlier." "You mean the things buried under the Hua Group?" "Yes. I understand. Before noon, all the official media will receive the relevant materials about the buried things in the ground. In addition, help me contact my father's old subordinates. Tell them that I haven't seen them for a long time, and I want to meet them." Zhu Yanbai was stunned and said in surprise, "When do you think it's a good time?" "The sooner the better." "Okay, I'll arrange it as soon as possible." The joy and eagerness in Zhu Yanbai's tone made Hua Qinhuan's heart harden. Even these outsiders could see the indifference and harshness of Hua Qihan's family. It was a bit ironic when she thought about it. Even if there was a little affection in the past, it was almost exhausted after so many years. Entertainment news competed for timeliness and popularity. Moreover, Su Yiyan had already hinted so clearly that this matter must be publicized truthfully and quickly. After several reporters of Yueshang magazine went back, they wrote an earth-shattering and melodramatic drama as quickly as possible. In the drama, Green Tea White Lotus was dissatisfied with the results of the variety show competition, so she led her brainless rich boyfriend to personally go to the big investor. She openly and secretly stepped on the artists of the same year and ridiculed the variety show's shady business. In the end, she was miserably slapped in the face by the big investor. Long Outyin did not dare to write a novel like this. Many netizens saw the familiar exaggerated title and complained in their hearts, but they still clicked on it. It would have been better if he didn't look. Now that he did, he saw a familiar face. What the hell? If I'm not mistaken, this Wen Jingping is the one Jingping who was mocked 30,000 times every day in Future Star? F***CK, you can even eat your own melon. The so-called dissatisfaction with the results of the variety show competition is dissatisfaction with the final result of Future Star? The artist she stepped on is our Ying. Shaking hands with the person above. It's not just your family, but my family as well. What an unexpected calamity. F***CK, 3 people from the same company, and our Shanshan. What did this B***TCH mean? Did they think that the top 7 contestants were no match for her, a noob who sang out of tune and danced like her? Where did you get the face to do that? Please don't compare our Ying to this B***TCH. She's not worthy. That's right. Our Tong Tong is both sweet and salty. I really don't know where she got the face to say that 3 people from the same company passed. These 3 people were voted in by us fans. They climbed up step by step. How can a noob like you step on them so casually? You're crossing the line to scam people. They're already in a group and they're still causing trouble. This woman must be crazy to want to be famous. She's not just starting to cause trouble now. She's been causing trouble since before the competition. Friends who don't know can go and search. Back then, almost all the coaches in the show were scammed by her. Chapter 320. Zheng Qiuying was able to stand out from hundreds of people with her own ability and become the team leader. Her ability and popularity were self-evident. Although Huang Zitong's strength was slightly weaker than hers, she was pretty and had a gentle temperament that didn't cause any trouble. The two of them participated in the competition together. They were opponents and friends. Furthermore, they were good at different things and did not have the same resources. Therefore, the fans of the two teams were unexpectedly harmonious. Needless to say, Yin Luoshan was the youngest and the most timid. She also had a silly and cute personality. She was the team's favorite. The three of them could be casually picked out, and people could see their strengths at a glance. It could be said that they beat Wen Jingping in all aspects. When Wen Jingping confronted Su Yiyan, she thought that she had the moral high ground. Little did she know that when these words fell into the ears of the three people's fans, it was like poking a hornet's nest. Usually, the fans of celebrities who relied on their looks to make a living didn't like others saying that their idols had no ability and relied on dirty tricks to get to the top. These fans who had watched their idols put in countless efforts and finally walked the path of fame and glory to the top of the stage couldn't tolerate such words. For a time, Wen Jingping was simply a vicious black lotus in the eyes of the three fans. She was the best synonym for a hypocritical green tea bitch. Not only that, but the members of the 7-person team, who weren't mentioned, were more or less implicated. Especially the fans of the last contestant at that time. They felt that their idol had accidentally been implicated. They followed the footsteps of the other three fans and pointed their guns at the same time. Compared to the fans of the other teams who were advancing together, Wen Jingping's fans were a little unlucky. The other fans were just eating melons to see their idols being implicated, but they were eating melons until their house collapsed. Boyfriend? F***ck, isn't she single? This question flashed through the minds of all of Wen Jingping's male fans, and some of her female fans. When Wen Jingping first started her live broadcast, she attracted a lot of viewers with her pitiful image of a little white lotus and her delicious home-cooked dishes. After that, she cooperated with the internal staff of the website who signed her at that time to sell the misery of a single-parent family and gained the protection of countless male viewers. Before participating in Future Star, Wen Jingping had already confirmed her relationship with Hua Xiaofeng. However, she was not stupid. In her previous life, she was also a fan of celebrities. She knew very well that celebrities who took the popular route did not have the right to be in a relationship. These people were willing to spend money on you because they treated you as their own child, their own husband and wife. In the eyes of these fans, wasn't he using their money to support his girlfriend? How could they tolerate this? Therefore, those who suddenly had relationships during the rising stage of their careers were mostly done for. It was precisely because Wen Jingping knew this that she had always announced to the public that she was still single. Her fans also believed her. But now this report was telling them that she had a boyfriend, and she even brought her boyfriend to fight with someone. Then what were they? What were these male fans who had spent a lot of money on her and wanted to send her on the path of flowers? The previous scamming incident and the top 20 fighting incident had already helped Wen Jingping clear a lot of fans. Most of the fans left were brainless straight men who only cared about appearances. But no matter how brainless a straight man was, he couldn't stand a green grassland above his head. Chapter 321. Wen Jingping's fans and her own anti-fans could not be bothered to argue with them. One by one, they swarmed onto Wen Jingping's official account, demanding an explanation. While all this was happening, Wen Jingping was still angry that Su Yiyan had humiliated her in front of so many people. Just as she logged into her official account and was about to express her sadness, Su Yiyan saw a screen full of mockery and doubts. She almost fainted on the spot. However, this was just the beginning. Su Yiyan saw Wen Jingping's male fans rioting, and a hint of schadenfreude flashed across her eyes. In her previous life, Wen Jingping did not reveal her relationship with Hua Xiaofeng to the public until her death. In the original novel, their relationship was only revealed later on when Wen Jingping's career was smooth sailing, and she received the approval of the male lead's family. At that time, Wen Jingping had already been promoted to the throne of Best Actress. She had a lot of male confidants, and her position in the industry was unshakable. Not only did this matter not affect her career, but she also received a lot of blessings. Now the time was not right. Wen Jingping's reputation had not changed yet. Most importantly, some of her male confidants had not yet taken their positions, and some had already changed sides. The sudden revelation of their relationship was undoubtedly a fatal blow to her. Su Yiyan had just finished laughing when a familiar notification sound rang in her mind. Congratulations on stealing the female lead's golden finger. Progress plus 10. Current progress is 20. Please continue to work hard. Su Yiyan narrowed her eyes. Just by revealing their relationship, the progress has increased by 10. According to the system's evaluation, revealing the relationship of the male lead and female lead early will cause the female lead to lose the support of most of her fans. At the same time, it will also affect her future interactions with other important male supporting characters. Therefore, it is determined to be 10. It will affect her future interactions with other important male supporting characters? Su Yiyan thought about it and understood. In the original novel, Wen Jingping was indecisive and couldn't bear to hurt those who loved her. To put it bluntly, she was like a social butterfly, coming and going from one outstanding man to another. Apart from the male lead, she kept countless spare tires for herself in case of emergencies. The way she flirted with these spare tires was actually quite low class. She lied that she and Huo Xiaofeng were just friends, or described Huo Xiaofeng as her suitor. When these men developed feelings for her and became jealous of her intimate contact with Huo Xiaofeng, she would then push the blame to her agency. She told them that her management company had asked her not to disclose her relationship with Huo Xiaofeng to the public when her career was on the rise. That was why she had kept it a secret from them. She did not lie to them on purpose. At that time, the supporting male lead had already developed feelings for her and naturally couldn't bear to scold her. When he saw her weeping like a pear blossom in the rain, his heart also softened. He couldn't leave and could only willingly be her bootlicker spare tire. Now, when Jingping's trump card had already been broken, and her reputation was more or less ruined. Unless it was those special lovers who liked to make others jealous. If these people could still have any interactions with Wen Jingping, it would probably be Wen Jingping taking the initiative to be their bootlicker, and not them rushing to be her protector god. If we start from this aspect, I'm afraid the current situation is still lacking. Su Yiyan rubbed her chin and pondered for a moment. She called the company's public relations department and asked them to find a group of big V accounts to take the initiative to expose the matter between her and these two people. Chapter 322. Therefore, before the news of Wen Jingping trampling on her peers was over, a bunch of so-called insiders appeared one after another. They started to reveal the identities of the three protagonists in the report, as well as the love and hate between the three in the video. The onlookers dropped their jaws. Although the blogger has tried her best to explain the relationship between the three in a subtle and objective way, the man dated the second female lead when he was still engaged to the first female lead. He even took advantage of his father's birthday to ask the first female lead to break off their engagement in front of countless guests. He even pushed the first female lead down the stairs during the argument and sent her to the hospital? In summary, isn't it just a scumbag cheating mistress who spoils his concubine and neglects his wife? So this White Lotus is a mistress? Thank you to the class representative above. I knew there was nothing wrong with the blogger's description, but I kept feeling that something was off. I instantly felt that the man was a scumbag and the second female lead was a whore. I feel sorry for the first female lead. No wonder in the previous video, the second female lead pretended to apologize to the first female lead. When the first female lead asked her what she was sorry for, the second female lead immediately changed the topic. As a mistress, of course, she was embarrassed to say it in public. If she said it out loud, she would be scolded to death. She was embarrassed? If she was really embarrassed, she wouldn't have been a mistress. She didn't say it because she wanted people to think that she was the victim and lead the public to blame the first female lead. The funniest thing was that she actually accused the first female lead of taking revenge for a personal grudge and deliberately harmed her. Even if the first female lead harmed her, she deserved it. Not to mention that the other party didn't harm her at all. She's not capable enough, but she still wants to smear others to clear her name. What kind of a venomous woman is this? It's really chilling. When Hua Xiaofeng received Wen Jingping's call for help, public opinion had already pinned him, and Wen Jingping on the pillar of shame as a scumbag and a mistress. Hua Xiaofeng had never suffered such humiliation in his life. He immediately hired a group of internet trolls to argue with this group of people. The internet trolls' strategy to clear their name was simple. They simply thought that the two of them were originally in a business marriage and had no feelings for each other. The man met his true love and broke off the engagement to pursue her bravely. There was nothing wrong with that. Otherwise, it was just like what Su Yiyan had predicted. The man didn't want the first female lead and wanted the second female lead instead. There must be something wrong with the first female lead that even her man couldn't stand it. She deserved to be cheated on. Such a whitewashing statement was, of course, rebuked. A business marriage should have integrity. Don't blame others for taking revenge on you. Seeing that this was not going to work, the fake reviewers turned to quibble that Hua Xiaofeng was daring enough to pursue true love. To us of the. Do you think the whole world revolves around you now that you're the one who's talking? Su Yiyan couldn't help but burst out laughing when she saw this. She secretly sighed that some netizens were quite talented. They could always hit the nail on the head and hit the nail on the head. Just as she was about to continue watching these sources of happiness, the screen changed. Ling Xiaoqi's call request popped up. Su Yiyan didn't think much about it and picked it up. She heard her best friend's heart-wrenching roar as soon as the call connected. Yiyan now? Immediately. Come and pick up your little bastard. If you're late, I can't guarantee that you'll see him alive. Chapter 323. Su Yiyan was stunned for a few seconds before she reacted. She opened her mouth and was about to say something, but Ling Xiaoqi had already hung up. So, what was she trying to do? Su Yiyan was dumbfounded. When Hua Chenhuan walked down the stairs, he saw his wife standing there in a daze. Her face was blank and inexplicably adorable. What's wrong? Su Yiyan woke up from a dream and said with a bitter face. Xiaoqi just called me and asked me to bring Dundun back now. If I'm late, I might not be able to see it alive. What did Dundun do to make her so angry? How would I know? She just said one sentence and hung up. Su Yiyan thought for a moment. Could it be that Dundun was too naughty and tore down her house? Haven't you thought it might have something to do with Hua? What can it have to do with Hua? Su Yiyan stopped abruptly and turned to stare at Hua Chenhuan. A few seconds later, Su Yiyan could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. She shouted outside the courtyard. Uncle Zhang, prepare the car. It was originally Zui Yanbai who stayed at the old mansion to take care of Hua Chenhuan today. But Hua Chenhuan had something to ask him to do, so Yu Zian came over. Along the way, Su Yiyan urged Yu Zian several times as if she was on fire. Yu Zian didn't feel annoyed. He only found it funny. Don't be nervous, young madam. Miss Ling is your best friend. She won't do anything to Dundun even if she's angry. You don't understand. Su Yiyan sighed. Xiaoqi might be gentle and soft, but if she's really pissed off, no one can stop her. Su Yiyan held Hua Chenhuan's hand tightly and said sadly, I'm really worried that if we're late, she'll really stew Dundun into dog meat hot pot in her anger. Dog hot pot? As soon as Hua Chenhuan heard the word hot pot, she subconsciously thought of the hot pot Su Yiyan had made before and asked in a low voice, Is it delicious? Su Yiyan. Darling, wake up. That's our cub. Yu Zian. Although he was also very curious about this question, young master, to ask this question in front of young madam. A group of people rushed to Ling Xiaoqi's house full of worries. Before they entered the door, they heard Ling Xiaoqi's angry roar. Stop, don't come over. If you dare to come closer, I will kill you. Do you know what kacha means? It means. Su Yiyen's mouth twitched when he heard this, and he couldn't continue listening. He opened the door and rushed in. Okay, we're here. If there's anything, let's talk about it face to face and solve it face to face. Don't scare it. You're here? Ling Xiaoqi was stunned when she saw Su Yiyan. After she reacted, she hurriedly carried her Huahua a few meters away from them. You came at the right time. Take this little bastard away. Take him away. Su Yiyan glanced at Dundun, who had a full beard and tail, and heaved a sigh of relief. He picked it up from the ground. Dundun saw that its owner had come and cried out aggrievedly. It nestled in Su Yiyan's arms and looked at the Huahua in Ling Xiaoqi's arms. Su Yiyan's mouth twitched slightly, and he said helplessly, "What happened? This little guy." It would have been better if Su Yiyan hadn't said anything. Ling Xiaoqi almost exploded on the spot when she heard this. This little bastard, it. Ling Xiaoqi couldn't say anything for a long time. Su Yiyan frowned and said tentatively, "It completed the great harmony of life with the Huahua." Chapter 324. Ling Xiaoqi, Hua Chenhuan and Yu Ziyan, who were following closely behind. What kind of great harmony was this? Ling Xiaoqi was thunderstruck by this description. It took her a few seconds to react, and she burst into tears on the spot. Sob, my poor child. From now on, you're no longer the pure and innocent you from before. Su Yiyan, Hua Chenhuan. It turned out that Dundun had followed Ling Xiaoqi home for the past 2 days. Although it liked to hang out with Huahua at first, it was still well behaved. In addition, Huahua was stronger than it, so even if it had any ulterior motives, it would be suppressed in a matter of minutes. Ling Xiaoqi initially guarded against it and didn't let it get too close to Huahua. Especially at night, it was basically locked in one room each. No matter how much Dundun scratched the door, it wouldn't easily let a wolf into the house. Ling Xiaoqi woke up early this morning. She was really sleepy in the afternoon, so she went into the bedroom to take a nap. Unexpectedly, when she woke up and walked out of the room, she saw. I saw this little bastard riding on top of our Huahua. Ling Xiaoqi still felt stifled when she recalled the scene. If looks could kill, then this lustful, short-legged brat would have been killed 1,000,000 times over by her. Su Yiyan also didn't expect that her silly dog would have such dumb luck. It actually succeeded. She immediately hugged Dundun and kissed it. She praised it sincerely. Well done. Yu Ziyan. Hua Chenhuan. Su Yiyan. Ling Xiaoqi completely exploded. Su Yiyan's expression stiffened. She smiled awkwardly and said, "It's its fault. It's all its fault. How could you do this without permission? Are you a little hooligan? You're too impulsive. What did I teach you before? No matter who it is, you can't do this to anyone. You've really disappointed me. Dundun. How could you be a coward at such a critical moment?" Dundun, who was betrayed by its owner, could only turn around and look at its dog father. Hua Chenhuan received its pleading gaze, but silently looked away and pretended not to see anything. Dundun. Didn't we agree to be each other's angels? How could you ignore me at a time like this? Of course it's its fault. Otherwise, is it our Huahua's fault? Su Yiyan's good apology made Ling Xiaoqi's anger subside a little. But when he thought that from today onwards, his own child would no longer be a virgin, he still felt incomparably stifled. It's a pity that our Huahua is still a baby. To think that she has to encounter such a thing. What if she gets pregnant? Io, why is our Huahua's life so hard? Me too. How could I have been so soft-hearted and brought it back? I knew it was a troublesome little bastard, but I still brought it back. I really brought a wolf into the house. I regret it so much. Ling Xiaoqi's face turned pale. She seemed to have imagined the terrible future. She looked at Su Yiyan and Su Yiyan with resentment. Therefore, in the next 10 minutes or so, Su Yiyan and Hua Chenhuan experienced in advance the terrible experience of their brats falling in love at such a young age, and impregnating the girl's belly. It was a terrible experience of causing the girl's parents to fall in love with her, and lose all their face. Yu Zian stood at the door and looked at the two high-spirited people who no one dared to look down on. However, when they were read, they lowered their heads in shame and repented. Not only did he not feel the slightest bit of sympathy, he even felt a little amused. Chapter 325. Although Ling Xiaoqi was angry, she knew that what was done could not be undone. What was done had been done. After grumbling for a long time and venting the anger in his heart, he gave up and sighed. Forget it, forget it. I overreacted a little. You can take it back. Su Yiyan was relieved to see that she had calmed down. He threw Dundun into Hua Chenhuan's arms and quickly stepped forward to hold Ling Xiaoqi's hand. Dundun was indeed in the wrong, but what's done can't be undone. There's no point in dwelling on this, right? They know each other very well. And our Dundun likes Huahua so much. Huahua is also very protective of our Dundun. Isn't this a good thing? Ling Xiaoqi was a little angry when she heard this. She snorted and said, Your Zai is a male, so of course you'd say that. If we really want to talk about this, our Huahua is the one who's taken advantage of, okay? What's so good about it? At the end of the day, you're just lusting after its body. Men really are all bad. The two men present were speechless. It was fine that they usually took the blame for those scumbags who had no bottom line. After all, they were still a species. Now this little b** starred of a different species caused trouble. Why did it have to be them as well? It was so hard to be a man. Su Yiyan was also a little amused by Ling Xiaoqi's indiscriminate attack. However, he also knew that this was not the time to argue with her. He had to appease her. Thus he agreed. Yes, yes, yes. Men are all bad. Yu Zian, who was standing at the door and watching the show with relish, narrowed his eyes and glanced stiffly at his young master. Seeing that his expression did not change, but there seemed to be an inexplicable dangerous atmosphere around him, he silently lit a candle for Su Yiyan in his heart. Su Yiyan finally managed to pacify Ling Xiaoqi, so he didn't want to agitate her by putting Dundun in her house, so he brought the troublesome dog back home. Before he left, Dundun wailed a few times in an attempt to arouse the sympathy of his beloved and her master. Unfortunately, Ling Xiaoqi was still angry, and Huahua seemed to be on its master's side unconditionally. It didn't even look at Ling Xiaoqi. All right, don't look like an abandoned husband. Su Yiyan rubbed the back of Dundun's furry neck and smiled helplessly. You're really brave. You've only been at someone's house for 2 days and you dare to bully their dog. Luckily, Xiaoqi has a good temper. If it were me, I would have thrown you out long ago to fend for you. Dundun wailed and looked at Su Yiyan with incomparable resentment. It didn't forget someone's betrayal just now. Su Yiyan saw that it didn't have any remorse, so he narrowed his eyes and said maliciously, I suddenly remembered that in this weather, dog meat hot pot is the best. It dispels the cold and nourishes the body. Why don't we eat this tonight? Woof. Dundun sensed the danger keenly and screamed, its eyes full of complaints. Su Yiyan was angry and amused. He reached out and patted the head of this dramatic dog. Now you know how to be afraid? If we didn't come quickly just now, I'm afraid you would have become Xiaoqi's meal now. Dundun wailed a few more times miserably. It lay in Su Yiyan's arms and mourned its quickly passing love. It was like a little old man who had experienced thousands of sales. Su Yiyan let it be sad and sighed helplessly. As soon as he turned his head, he met Hua Chenhuan's teasing eyes. Are there no good men? Su Yiyan. I'm not, I can explain. Chapter 326. Su Yiyan laughed dryly and said with a fawning expression, Xiaoqi's situation is special, so she will occasionally be a little sexist. Don't take it to heart. Hua Chenhuan was not so easy to fool. I only take your words to heart. You said that there are no good men. I had no choice but to agree with her. Really? Su Yiyan looked at Hua Chenhuan's face, carefully pulled his sleeve and tentatively asked, Are you angry? Hua Chenhuan was really not angry. As Su Yiyan said, she had no choice but to agree with her just now. She was not really dissatisfied with him, so he would not be angry because of this. But when he heard Su Yiyan ask him softly if he was angry, and her tone was full of nervousness and fawning, Hu Chunhuan's eyes darkened slightly, and he admitted shamelessly, "Yes." "Are you really angry?" Su Yiyan immediately moved closer. "Don't be angry. I promise I won't say that again." Hu Chunhuan's expression did not change, and he did not speak. Su Yiyan blinked and continued to probe. "Then what should I do to make you not angry?" Hu Chunhuan still did not speak and just stared at her. What did this mean? Su Yiyan frowned and thought for a moment. Finally, she gritted her teeth and leaned over to kiss Hu Chunhuan's lips in front of Yu Zian. A light flashed in Hu Chunhuan's eyes, but the expression on his face still did not change. Su Yiyan's heart skipped a beat when she saw this. Could it be that she was wrong? Even this method didn't work? Before she could think more, she heard Hu Chunhuan say unsatisfactorily, "Just once?" Su Yiyan, Yu Zian, who thought he had misheard. Su Yiyan did not know whether to laugh or cry, but he also breathed a sigh of relief and said without any pressure, "Then let's kiss a few more times." After saying that, she took the initiative to lean over and kiss him a few more times. Every time, it was a kiss on the lips. Yu Zian, who had been bullied for no reason, was speechless. Hey, that's enough. Don't bully a single dog like this." Dundun, who was still in Su Yiyan's arms. "That's enough. Was this really appropriate in front of a lovelorn dog that had just been heartbroken?" Dundun, who had just been brought back, once again had the idea of running away from home. This heartless world had truly broken its heart. Su Yiyan kissed her several times before stopping. He smiled and said, "You're not angry anymore?" "Yes." Su Yiyan breathed a sigh of relief. Then, as if he had thought of something, he stared into Hu Chunhuan's eyes and said with a faint smile, "You are indeed not a good person." Yu Zian, who had thought that this matter was finally over. "Young madam, are you crazy? You finally managed to coax him. And now you're saying this again? Are you planning to coax him again?" Hu Chunhuan was stunned. He thought that Su Yiyan had sensed that he was pretending to be angry and had angered her instead. Just as he was about to explain, he heard Su Yiyan say, "You are a good husband." Yu Zian was speechless. "Do you guys like to take such long pauses when talking?" A faint blush flashed across Hu Chunhuan's face. Although he didn't say anything, Su Yiyan could see the pure joy in his eyes. He was really easy to coax. Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh. However, she slowly reached out and took the initiative to hold Hu Chunhuan's hand. Although these words were said to coax him, they were also from the bottom of her heart. In her eyes, there was no better husband in the world than Hu Chunhuan. And in the future, if they could have children of their own, he would definitely be the best father in the world. Chapter 327. Su Yiyan and the others picked up the troublemaker Zai Zai and went home. The atmosphere was warm and loving. On the other hand, Hu Xiaofeng was not so lucky. This time, Su Yiyan was determined to make Hu Xiaofeng and Su Yiyan suffer. Even if she could not make them fall into eternal damnation, she wanted to teach them a lesson. Didn't Hu Xiaofeng buy the Internet Water Army? They bought it too. Hu Xiaofeng and the others were not in the right to begin with. Once Su Yiyan's Internet Water Army bought the Internet Water Army, they attacked them directly. Their sarcasm and ridicule were 10 times, no 100 times more interesting than the Internet Water Armies. In just half a day, the Internet Water Army was defeated by the Internet Water Army with the help of passers-by. It was worth mentioning that the ones who contributed the most were not Internet Water Army or passers-by, but Wen Jingping's male fans. These people were once attracted by Wen Jingping's face and her gentle personality. They fought for her at the forefront of the anti-defamation campaign. However, all of this was based on the premise that Wen Jingping was single, and everything she showed was real. Now these people realized that everything they thought was fake. Her being single was fake, and this woman's so-called gentleness and kindness was also fake. Other than her face, everything else about her in front of the camera was fake. They hated her now as much as they liked her in the past. Her existence was a constant reminder of their past stupidity. Hu Xiaofeng looked at the screen full of mockery and curses. His face was gloomy to the extreme. His resentment toward Su Yiyan, and the Su family reached its peak. Even now, he still did not feel that what he did in the past was wrong. He just liked a woman and did not want to accept his family's arrangement to marry a woman he did not like. Why did everyone have to go against him? Compared to Hua Xiaofeng, who was full of anger, Wen Jingping was more terrified when she saw these comments. Mistress? Why did everyone treat her as a mistress? She was not a mistress. She and Hua Xiaofeng were clearly in love with each other. Why did she call them a scumbag, a slut, and a two-timing mistress? This was completely different from the perfect love between Cinderella and the prince that she had imagined in her mind. Weren't the fiancés of the male protagonists in romance novels all vicious female supporting characters who would eventually be condemned as cannon fodder? Their marriage was just a business alliance. There was no emotional foundation. She was Hua Xiaofeng's true love. How could these people scold her without knowing anything? She didn't do anything wrong. It had to be said that from a certain point of view, these two people could be considered a perfect match. How similar were their perspectives when thinking about problems. However, now that things had escalated to this point, it was no longer something they could control. Hua Xiaofeng looked at Wen Jingping's deathly pale face and thought of how she had risked her life to save his life a few days ago. His heart softened and he comforted her softly. It's okay, it's okay. These people are just jealous of us. Their words are clear and logical, but if they really meet us, they may be even more resolute than us. Moreover, don't be fooled by how fiercely they are scolding us now. After a few days, they will definitely forget about it. It was originally something that had nothing to do with them. They will just talk about it and forget about it the moment they turn around. Really? Wen Jingping looked at Hua Xiaofeng with reddened eyes. She had lived two lives, but she was not as naive as Hua Xiaofeng. Perhaps Hua Xiaofeng's words were not without reason. These people who were following the trend and scolding them now would soon forget about this matter. However, the internet had memories. For those who did not like her, if she did not handle this matter well, it would be a stain on her life. Chapter 328. Wen Jingping was ambitious and wanted to be the best. Naturally, she would not allow such a deadly dark history to exist. But I feel bad when I see them scolding you like this, especially when they're not only scolding you but also your parents. I'm afraid that your parents will have a bad impression of me because of this. They won't. Hua Xiaofeng subconsciously wanted to refute, but as soon as the words left his mouth, he remembered the scene of his mother scolding him in the hospital that day. His expression immediately became subtle. We can't let them continue scolding you like this. When Wen Jingping saw that he was persuaded by her, she quickly added, if things go wrong, it might affect the company. Do you want to ask Uncle in advance and see if he has any other ideas? Hua Xiaofeng was young after all. In addition, he had been spoiled since he was a child and had not had much experience in life. He basically went down the wrong path without any direction. Wen Jingping hoped that Hua Xiaofeng's father would be better than him and help the two of them settle this matter. Hua Xiaofeng heard Wen Jingping's words and felt that they made sense. He immediately called Hua Qihan. The two of them had placed all their hopes on Hua Qihan, but they did not know that Hua Qihan could not even protect himself at this time. A few hours ago, the Hua Corporation had spent a lot of effort to acquire an investment site. Suddenly, the site of a suspected colony of extinct creatures was unearthed. This matter was comparable to the ancient Earth's imperial palace being excavated. Not long after the news broke, geological experts from all over the world rushed over. As early as when humans found this habitable planet with great difficulty, many people were very curious. This habitable planet was rich in resources, but they had not seen the existence of human-like beings. Was this a primitive planet that had never been developed before? If it wasn't, then had it experienced the same changes of eras as Earth before this? Before that, what occupied the top of the food chain? Many biogeologists stubbornly believed that exploring these things could better determine the future direction of human development, so that this beautiful habitable planet would not repeat the mistakes of ancient Earth. Therefore, once this matter was exposed, it immediately received widespread attention. The original construction team had to temporarily stop work and wait for follow-up inspection and confirmation. Hua Qihan's face was as black as the bottom of a pot when he heard this. He swept all the documents on his desk on the spot. Who is in charge of this land? Didn't you ask someone to do an on-site inspection before writing a plan to buy land? Why are these things dug out from the ground? The secretary, who was forced to bear the brunt of his boss's anger, stood on the side with a pale face. After a while he said in a trembling voice, "The person in charge of this land seems to be Captain Hua." Hua Qihan's eyes narrowed slightly. Only then did he remember that when Hua Xiaofeng first entered the company's senior management had questioned his ability. After all, Hua Qihan only had one son. Naturally, he couldn't bear to see others criticize him, so he handed over an important project in the company to him. He asked him to focus on inspecting a few pieces of land, make an evaluation report based on the results of the inspection, and finally decide on a piece of land as the cornerstone of the project. After all, this was his son's first performance result after entering the company. Although Hua Qihan helped guide him, he couldn't do too much on the surface. Otherwise, even if it was really done in the end in the eyes of others, he would be the one who opened the door for his son and not Hua Xiaofeng's own ability. Chapter 329. Therefore, except for some guidance in the early stages, Hua Qihan did not show up from beginning to end. Hua Xiaofeng was in charge of the field inspection and survey of those lands. After reading the evaluation report he handed over, Hua Qihan also secretly checked the competitors participating in the bidding out of caution. He found that many big companies were also very optimistic about this piece of land, and were trying their best to win it. Naturally, he thought that this land did indeed have great development prospects. When he learned that Hua Xiaofeng had won this land, he was happy for a long time. He felt that his son could win against those old foxes and give him a lot of face. But now, Hua Qihan wished he could go back in time and stab this scourge to death. Then he would stab himself to death. Where's Hua Xiaofeng? He made such a big mistake. Where is he now? Hua Qihan slammed the table loudly. As his father, you don't even know where he is. How would I know? The secretary silently complained in his heart, but he said, Team leader Hua took sick leave 2 days ago and has not returned to cancel his leave. He is not in the company for the time being. When Hua Qihan heard the word sick leave, he immediately thought of the terrible things Hua Xiaofeng had done 2 days ago, and became even angrier. Contact him right now and ask him to come to the company. If he doesn't come, he doesn't have to come for the rest of his life. Okay, I'll go right away. When the secretary heard this, he felt as if he had been granted amnesty. He turned around, and was about to run out when Hua Qihan's cell phone rang. Seeing the caller ID on the screen, Hua Qihan frowned slightly and shouted, Wait, you don't have to go. He called me. Hua Qihan thought that Hua Xiaofeng had seen the news and knew that something big had happened in the company. Only then did he remember to call him. Unexpectedly, as soon as the call was connected, Hua Xiaofeng took the initiative to explain the ins and outs of the matter, and begged his father to help clean up the mess. If this had happened under normal circumstances, Hua Qihan might have been angry, but he might have helped him clean up the mess. But it was different now. Hua Qihan's mind went blank when he heard his son's words. What did you say? You took that woman to Su Yiyan, and your previous engagement with her was exposed. Now everyone is scolding you and that woman? Hua Xiaofeng did not realize that something was wrong. He only thought that Hua Qihan was angered by the curses he had just said. So he quickly added fuel to the fire. Yes, Dad, you don't know how vicious that B***th Su Yiyan is. She insulted little Ping inside and out in front of everyone. And she even got someone to record it and post it on the internet, causing others to dig up all our secrets. It's fine if a lot of people are scolding me and little Ping, but now they're scolding you and my mom. Hua Qihan was so angry that he almost fell back. Is there something wrong with your brain? Don't you know how much the Su family hates you and that B***th beside you after the engagement was called off? You even insisted on bringing people to the Su family. If they don't insult you, do you think they'll flatter you nicely? Hua Xiaofeng did not expect Hua Qihan to have such a reaction. He was stunned for a few seconds and became angry. He said unhappily, "Dad, how can you speak for that bitch? It's obviously that bitch who went too far." Hua Xiaofeng was still cursing on the other end. Hua Qihan was so angry that his whole body was trembling. His vision turned black. Finally, his body swayed and he fell back. "President? President! Someone, the president fainted. Call an ambulance." Chapter 330. The secretary's heart-wrenching roar resounded throughout the Hua Corporation building, and the president's office was instantly in chaos. At the same time, Su Yiyan's mind rang with the system's notification again. Congratulations to the host for snatching the female protagonist's golden finger. Progress +10. Current progress 30. Victory is in sight. Please keep up the good work. Su Yiyan was slightly stunned, her face full of surprise and confusion. What happened? Why did it add another 10 points? The host can search for ancient creature ruins discovered at Hua Corporation's construction site. Ancient creature ruins? Su Yiyan was even more surprised and quickly searched for the news according to the system's instructions. Sure enough, this news was already at the top of the trending news list, and it was all red. Ancient creature ruins discovered at Hua Corporation's construction site? Doesn't that mean their project has to be suspended? What were they planning to do with this land? To develop real estate, and they have already invested a lot of money in the initial investment. Su Yiyan raised her eyebrows and gloated. So Hua Qihan is in trouble? According to my understanding, the main person in charge of this project is the male lead, Hua Xiaofeng. Hua Xiaofeng is in charge of this project? Su Yiyan was shocked again. In her opinion, Hua Xiaofeng was a nobody who despised dogs. Hua Qihan had actually given him full responsibility for such an important project. He must have lost his mind. If this matter was blown up, the Hua Corporation would definitely suffer heavy losses. As the main person in charge, Hua Xiaofeng could not absolve himself from the blame. As the company's president, Hua Qihan could not escape responsibility no matter who was involved in this matter. Not to mention that the person involved was his own son. He would probably be implicated to death. The Hua Corporation is Hua Xiaofeng's confidence and reliance. Now that he has caused such a big mess, it is very likely that he will be kicked out of the Hua Corporation. Even if he is not kicked out, the company's internal staff will definitely be full of opinions about him, and his reputation will plummet. Is that why the system added 10 points to my score? Su Yiyan narrowed her eyes, as if she had sensed something. Hua Xiaofeng's female lead halo will also be affected? Male and female are originally one and complement each other. However, as the main character of the book, the female lead has a stronger halo than the male lead. Su Yiyan didn't think too much about it. She could tell that Hua Xiaofeng and Wen Jingping were bound together for good or ill. While they were talking, another piece of news popped up on Su Yiyan's phone. The CEO of the Hua Corporation has been sent to the hospital. He is suspected to have been angered by the eldest son of the family Hua. Pfft. Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh when she saw this, which alarmed Hua Chenhuan, who was sitting beside her. What are you looking at that makes you smile so happily? Hua Xiaofeng is in charge of a piece of land in the Hua family that has been found to contain ancient biological ruins. If this matter is confirmed, the Hua Corporation will probably lose a lot of money. Because of this, Hua Qihan seems to have been angered by Hua Xiaofeng and was sent to the hospital. After Su Yiyan finished speaking, she saw that Hua Chenhuan's expression didn't change. She looked as if she had expected this. A thought flashed through her mind, and she asked in a low voice, "Does this matter have anything to do with you?" Hua Chenhuan's eyes moved slightly, and she nodded and said, "Yes." A trace of understanding flashed through Su Yiyan's eyes. She knew that this matter was too coincidental. Hua Xiaofeng had just suffered a big loss because of her, and now the Hua Corporation and Hua Qihan were in trouble. Did you send someone to make this a big deal? More than that. He had sent someone to expose this matter and make it a big deal, but he had done far more than that. Chapter 331. Su Yayan was silent for a long time after hearing Hua Chenhuan's words. Hua Chenhuan noticed the change in her expression. His eyes darkened as he probed. Do you think I'm too heartless? Su Yayan looked up at him in confusion. Heartless? Then, as if she had heard a joke, she couldn't help but chuckle. Why would you think that? Do you think I don't know what kind of people Hua Qihan and his family are? I'm not a saint. I won't sympathize with them at a time like this. Besides. Su Yayan moved closer to Hua Chenhuan and looked straight into his eyes. I believe you. You must have a reason for everything you do. Whether it's for yourself or something else, I will believe you unconditionally and support you. Hua Chenhuan's heart was finally at ease because of Su Yayan's words, and his eyes were filled with warmth. Now that this matter has become so big, how will it be dealt with in the future? If this was the only matter, Hua Qihan might choose to have a good talk with these geologists and get some compensation from them to make up for the company's losses. Su Yayan understood the meaning behind Hua Chenhuan's words and asked curiously, Can't we do that now? Did you forget that you just exposed Hua Xiaofeng and that woman? Su Yayan blinked and looked puzzled. What's the connection between these two things? The group of people you hired not only scolded Hua Xiaofeng and that woman, but also Hua Xiaofeng's upbringing and the Hua Corporation. Su Yayan didn't expect Hua Chenhuan to know that she had hired a group of people. She blushed and muttered in embarrassment. How do you know everything? I'm worried that you'll be wronged, so I naturally have to pay more attention to everything. Hua Chenhuan said this seriously, but Su Yayan smelled a hint of sweetness in his words, and the smile on her lips couldn't help but widen. Who told him to call his father the person in charge of the Hua Corporation when he came to cause trouble for me? He even threatened our company's security personnel to teach them a lesson. I want to see who will teach who a lesson. Hua Chenhuan loved Su Yayan's arrogant and vengeful look. He smiled and said, Originally, these two things really have nothing to do with each other. But because of the group of people, and what you said just now, Hua Xiaofeng used the Hua Corporation and Hua Qihan's name to threaten them in the video. This made many people doubt the Hua family's upbringing, and it also affected the Hua Corporation's reputation. At this time, the Hua Corporation suddenly discovered ancient biological relics in the development zone. If the Hua Corporation also announced that they wanted a huge amount of compensation, what would the consequences be? Su Yayan came to a sudden realization. Those righteous people on the internet will definitely say that they are greedy, black-hearted capitalists. The bigger the company, the more attention they pay to their reputation. Hua Qihan originally had a chance to make up for this mistake. Now that he has been affected by Hua Xiaofeng's matter, there is only one path in front of him. What is it? Donate that land unconditionally to protect the company's reputation. Sacrificing a rook to save the king was indeed the only way, but will he do that? He has no choice. If he doesn't do this, he will destroy the Hua Corporation's foundation. Even if he doesn't want to, there will be people who will force him to do it. But will the company's senior executives let him make this kind of decision? Hua Chenhuan narrowed his eyes and chuckled. They will. They know very well that this is the only way. But knowing is one thing. It is impossible for them not to feel resentment. That you're tuning in to the Li Mei Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.